mad about the Euros. Only a couple days left. The penultimate show of the previews. Good morning, welcome. Gav Mac here, Big Gunner there. What's good, bro?
I'm good, man. Just living a dream, man. It's, nice and early today, so
Oi.
hopefully
Don't know
it's
how
gonna be
many.
another sunny day today, man.
I don't know how many more of these early mornings I could do. And stupid me said, let's put all the shows at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
So, uh,
so I got my coffee, man.
yeah, I've got mine. Something like that. Anyway, hey, look, here we are. Group E: Poland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Spain. Very tough group on the outside. It looks easy for some, but for me, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than people may imagine. Let's have a look. Why don't we start with Swedes? Let's have a look at their side. So, Sweden. This is the Sweden side. They will open their Group E setting against Spain, who have won it twice in the last, in recent history, if you want to call it that. When you look at the Sweden side, what stands out to you?
Nothing. Like I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing people like Marcus Berg, and I'm sure is that the same Marcus Berg from like Football Manager in 2002? I'm sure. I need to double check that, but if that's the
Yeah,
same
Marcus
Marcus
Berg.
Berg,
Yeah, he's 34. That's what
like
he tells people anyway.
he was a wonder kid, man, on Football Manager. Sebastian Larsson, still the captain. Oh man, honestly, it's just I can't even pronounce his name, but Dejan from Juventus. I've watched him a
Oh,
few times.
Kulusevski.
Yeah, I've watched him a few times this season, and he looks like a good player. But honestly, from that team, I think they are in big trouble. Like I think they could finish bottom of the group. I think without Zlatan, obviously I know Zlatan's old, but just the boost that he gives the team, man. Um, I think he just frightens other teams as well, man.
Mm.
It will be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you sort of look at that in that team and think, okay, this guy, he's gonna ball out.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kulusevski, I do, but there is a little bit of doubt over what involvement he'll have, especially in the opening game, because he has been. Well, I'm not quite sure if he's actually got COVID, but he is
Oh,
definitely
okay.
isolated because of it, and we'll be coming on to COVID quite a bit in the next half hour or so when we're talking about the show. There's, I look at Alexander Isaac, who I like. He's 21. Is at Sociedad. He played well in the Europa League. Did all right in the league as well.
Yeah,
This isn't the same Sweden side as we've seen over the years. Sweden sides that we have an expectation of, but don't ever sort of like get over the mark.
yeah,
But this is a team of togetherness, and they do have a few leaders in there, the shape of Pontus Jansson. People would have seen his post-match interview for the playoff final, where
yeah,
Brentford overcame Swansea in that as well. And just you need those type of people in there. Mikael Lustig, also part of the defence there, is at AIK. He's played in Europe before, in Britain before, of course. Albin Egdal, I still rate him quite highly, and I imagine that he's going to have some involvement in the midfield. He's way more defensive now than he has been over the course of his career, but he's doing bits at Sampdoria. He looks
yeah,
okay, and then they've got Emil Forsberg, who over the years has always been ranked highly. He's had a really good season for Leipzig, in my opinion, and he's someone who could try and make things tick. Then and finally, Robin Kaizen. I'm only mentioning him because he's a Palermo legend, and everybody who knows me knows that I'm a giant Palermo fan. But Well, to be fair, his performances made a massive difference to Mainz surviving in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
When you looked at Mainz in December, we were laughing at them. They're actually bottom. Schalke were ahead of them,
Hmm.
and the form that they put in from the second half of the season into up until the last game of the season,
Yeah.
that form would have had them second in the league, I think. So it just goes to show what involvement he's had. So hoping for their sake that will allow them to try and take some of these sides to the sword, especially sides like Slovakia, Poland, who have been so touch and go throughout the last 15 years. To be
Yeah.
honest, you don't know which Poland side is going to show up, but yeah, I don't.
Alexander Isaac, I forgot about him.
Yeah,
Because he played for Dortmund for a little while, didn't he? And
mm,
then he went on loan to Willem II and had a good season for Sociedad
mm,
um, in Europe as well. I think he scored 20 goals this season,
mm,
and he's only young as well. I think he's 22 or 23, so he's 21. Just looking, I've just clicked onto
yeah.
him now. He's 21, so um, yeah, he's another young talented player. But other than that, it's just like you're saying, they're going to have to bank on the togetherness and the old heads of people like Sebastian. I can't believe I'll say Sebastian Larson, but Sebastian Larson. Um, and yeah, I mean, what's his name from Brentford? Like you mentioned,
Pontus Janssen.
I think you need something because he's a bit of a nutter, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he went mad when Bielsa made them give the goal back. Um, yeah, he just went nuts, didn't he? And he started swearing and stuff as well, didn't he, on the camera?
Oh yeah,
So
he doesn't
you
care.
need you need those sort of players to get you through these tournaments as well. So they do have some old heads as well. So I don't know, man. I said they're going to finish bottom. I don't know if I was just being harsh on them, but I just don't know if they've got enough, to be honest. I know they've got Lindelof and Kraft and Janssen all playing the Premiership, so they've got a half. Or now Janssen plays in the Premiership, but they've got a half decent defense there. So it will be interesting. To be fair, I think they'll put up a good fight, but I just worry about the attack. To be honest,
They've got a couple of big lads,
yeah,
and when you have got someone, yes, he is 36 years old. Yes, I still would ID him in the shape of Seb Larson. But when you do look at the size of some of these boys, I mean, like Kaizon is 6 foot, 6'1". Kulizevsky, he's not just 6'3", he's also wide as
yeah,
well. So he's a nice little target man. And Isaac as well, he's what, 6'4", 6'5". So, these are some big boys that can, if you whip a decent ball into them, they could make some form of difference. So
yeah.
we'll come on to the full predictions at the end, but it's not looking good for for Sweden at the moment. I was going to say Swansea, yeah, but we mentioned on Poland. Poland said like they're a bit touch and go. Now this is only a 25-man squad
Hmm.
because Arkadiusz Milik is injured, and I feel so damn sorry for this guy because I've championed him for a number of years. I'm a
Hmm.
big fan of Arkadiusz Milik, and he's never had the decent rub of the green, which is so unfortunate. And this was his opportunity because they do like playing with two strikers on a regular basis.
Hmm.
And him and Lewandowski, they do have a lovely relationship up top there. So it is going to be a miss for them. But they've got strength in places, but they've also got a few weaknesses as
Hmm.
well. So I look at their defense. Jan Bednarek has been brilliant. Kamil Glick, he's had a very up and down career. I hated him at Palermo. He didn't really do anything. He's moved on, done well. Now he's coming towards the back end of his career, hanging out at Benevento.
Yeah.
Things are going bad when you're knocking around down there. They've also got a couple of players that are homegrown, which there's no disrespect to the extra classer, but it is not one of the top leagues in
Hmm.
Europe. So when you are looking at defenders from there, I think there might be a bit of an issue, Big G.
Yeah, and again, Poland, I think they go into that sort of bracket where they sort of get by because of that squad togetherness. You know,
Mm.
like I was going to say they don't have any big players, but they've got the best striker in the world.
Yes, they have.
So it's gonna be interesting because what you don't want to see is them just giving them the ball. You don't want to
Mm.
just see that like they just that's their only tactic. You don't want to just see them just logging the ball up to Lewandowski. So I mean, yeah, like you said, it's just an up and down. They're up and down at the moment, and you don't know which Poland you're going to get. And
Mm.
I think it's again like Sweden with Ibrahimovic, you would pretty much be basing their whole tournament on how well that one player does. And I think again, if Lewandowski gets the chances, he's going to score. So
Mm.
we're basing it basically. We're literally just praying, or they would be praying that he has a great tournament. I mean,
Mm.
like in recent years, we've looked at all these players thinking they're going to have big tournaments, and they really haven't.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
It all depends on the service that they're getting now. The fact that they're missing Milik now, I feel that they are going to revert to a 4-3-3. And if
Hmm.
they do, I'm expecting Krychak to play as like a linchpin between the two centre halves, between the centre halves and the midfield two in
Hmm.
front. But then Mateusz Klich, who's had a great season for Leeds, he can also sit in that position. So they could end up playing two holders. But if
Yeah,
not, I can see Krychak being the deeper guy and Zielinski and Klich playing a little bit further forward, and then that would allow Sremislav Frankowski to play out on the right hand side, and then maybe Paqueta, who's had a brilliant season for Norwich, on the left, and then Lewandowski straight through the middle. I think that's the only thing. I mean, like, Frankowski's as an individual has had a really good start to the season, but he plays for Chicago Fire, and they're awful, which is an issue. So they've been awful all season. They've got the worst badge in the MLS. You could watch the MLS show with us, by the way, on MAD Sports Network, and we'll be able to tell you more about him if you want to learn more about him. That is, of course, but I can't see past their starting 11.
and that's the thing. And I think one thing Poland have always had is goalkeepers.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got Wojciech and they've got Lucas, both ex-Arsenal players. So they've got a half decent spine in my eyes. Like you talk about with Klitsch and Lewandowski, Fabianski, Jedinak. So they've got a bit of a core. So once you have a core, like things are possible. And again, because it's a cup competition where it's only 3 games, these sorts of teams, they can get by because they can put all their men behind the ball for 2-3 games and nick a draw and nick a win, and then you're through. So
Mm.
like you said, I don't think it's going to be all smooth sailing in this group. So it's going to be interesting.
Mm. Very true. Very true. We'll move on to Slovakia next, and Slovakia. That's what I say about Slovakia. I, I look at some of these players, and they have got some very talented kids in there, as well as some old timers, if you want to call it that. But I I fear for them in this group. I really do. When I say talented kids, I look at Suslov, who I've had a look at him quite a bit this season because he
Hmm.
plays in the Eredivisie. He plays for I'm going to say it in English, Groningen. But I know you're meant to pronounce it in a different way, so I
Yeah.
apologise to any Dutch people that I know or could be watching the stream that is from the area. And if you could let us know in the comments the way to pronounce it properly, that would be lovely. And of course, another player in the Eredivisie who plays for Feyenoord is the striker Robert Bozanic as well. He's
Yeah.
quite a big boy, and he's only been part of the fray for the last 2 years, but in that time he's scored 4 goals and is in the 15 caps that he's played. So it's not exactly a bad return for such a young lad.
Yeah. I mean, again, they've got a couple of old heads, obviously with Hammershik, but they've got Milana. I can never say his name. Is it Skriniar? Uh,
Skriniar.
yeah, the centre back that plays for Inter Milan. So again, they're another team that have players, individual players that play for big teams. So they have the experience, but it's just about the players that are around them. Can they be elevated to their sort of level to get results? And we know about Dubravka as well. He's actually a top draw goalkeeper. It's just
Top keeper.
unlucky that he's playing for Newcastle. So people don't
Careful, you got a lot
really.
of Newcastle fans on your
Yeah, I
channel. Don't
got
start digging them out
yeah.
here, mate.
So yeah, you feel sorry for him in that respect, because I don't think he gets the plaudits that he actually deserves. So yeah, they've got a few good players. But again, yeah, for me, yeah, I worry about them, to be honest.
Vladimir Weiss is still part of the setup, which I think is absolutely crazy. I feel like he's been around since the dawn of time, but once again, he's one of those players that I just feel that I don't know where I've been. He's only 31.
Yeah.
I've always thought he was a lot older. I think it's because he came out the blocks very, very early. You know, I think he was 16 or 17 when he made his debut or something like that. He was super young. So yeah, he's been around for ages. He's part of City's books as well, Man City's books way back in there. So yeah, you've got him. He hasn't got the pace that he had before. You got Robert Mack. He's had a okay season. Plays for Ferencváros. I know a few Hungarians, by the way. So this isn't just me trying to make out like I know stuff. I pay attention to leagues that I've got friends' allegiances in. So here, the Norwegian league, I've got a load of Norwegian pals, and they tell me all about bits and bobs that are happening in Norway as well. So yeah, I know that he has had a good season. But once again, this is a nation that have a few players that play that apply their trade domestically, which I think is great. But at the same time, when you are playing in a league which hasn't got that stature, it could be a hindrance to them.
Yeah, it could be, but again, like I said earlier, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for some of these players. They're not you know, I think this is only their second time since they've become Slovakia that they've actually made the Euros. And I think they made it out of groups in the last one, didn't they? And then got smashed, or 2016 by Germany. So yeah, I would say this is the team that I'll say I worry about the most. But then I feel like they're just a tough team, innit? Like, you know, you just got to get that team that's just tough. Like everyone you just wouldn't want to meet them on the road another fight of them. They just look tough in it. So that may go in their favor. But again, I think, like you said, this is going to be a tough group to call, to be honest.
Big up Laszlo Benes as well. He plays for Augsburg. I've got a lot of time for Augsburg, of course. Bundesliga show via MAD Sports Network. And who else? Andre Duda. If they get a penalty, Duda will take it and he will score. He's missed one penalty in his whole life. He just went for a period, Cologne, of winning penalties like every other week, and he was there taking them, slapping them in. And he hits him with pace as well. And Jan Gregers, who also plays in centre midfield. And if I'm honest, it was only recently I realised he was actually Slovakian. I just thought Jan Gregers, I just thought straight away he's definitely American, but he is not. So yeah, that's that. And the final team in the group is Spain, and their squad. Nobody is in the Spain squad. They've so the situation with Spain is that Sergio Busquets has tested positive for the Rona, and everybody has had to self-isolate. So just last night they had to field a team against Lithuania, which was their under-21s, Still no Sergio Ramos, which I think is criminal. He couldn't get, he can't catch a cold. But I feel that there might be some lasagna gate-esque stuff going on, and he got someone in the room who's got COVID and spread it to the club, spread it to the players, just to be like, right, okay, if you're not picking me, then nobody's going. That's what I feel. But no, of course, that is true. Here's the rest of the sides. So this Spain side is not the strongest Spain side we have seen in a long time. And also, the situation here is that Luis Enrique has only selected 24 players rather than the full 26. And he's turned out and said that he doesn't want to take any more because he wants everybody to have a fair chance of playing. And he only feels that 18 or 19 of the current squad will actually play. What do you think of that, BG?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's still weird that everybody was like, everyone was up in arms about Ward-Prowse and all these people that should have made it instead of when Trent got injured. But I just kept saying, what is the actual point? Because when you actually think about it, if Ward-Prowse wasn't in the initial 26, it means that he wasn't really thought about anyway. And then usually you'd only have 23 players, or is it 22 for when you
23 nowadays, isn't it? Yeah,
so
up until today. Up
we've
until
got
this
three
summer.
extra players. So realistically, you've got three extra players that you don't need anyway. So what is the point of actually taking that extra three players? Because essentially you only have 22 players, because say you changed your whole team in the last game, you're only using 22 players really. So taking 26 is okay. They always throw out this sort about experience, and or somebody that's got the experience can pass it down to the young players. I think that's a good thing to do, to be fair. I personally still would have taken 23 because I don't see that there's any. I mean, yeah, there is a benefit to taking 26 when you think about it, that you have more opportunity to change things around. But then if you don't get that opportunity, then someone's just been in the Euros and not done anything for a whole month, and they could have been resting, preparing for their next season coming up. So yeah, I mean, I commend him for doing it, to be fair, and he's being honest. He's being honest. A lot of people are beating around the bush about things, but he's being honest. So you have to respect that. Looking at that team, that defense, Garcia hasn't looked good. Garcia and Laporte haven't looked good together for Man City. Looking at it, that could be their first choice centre back pairing. And then you've got Aspilicueta. Again, I mean, he's had probably one of his best seasons he's had for Chelsea this season, hasn't he? Especially when Tuchel's got in there. But it's not the Spain defense that we're used to. So again, I think they will be relying on their midfield and further forward to get them through, to be honest.
I look at individuals in the Spanish defenders that have been selected, and I think, yeah, you've got talent, but I'm going to break it down for you. Pau Torres, brilliant centre half, absolutely brilliant centre half, 8 caps. Laporte, 1 cap. Diego Llorente, 8 caps. Eric Garcia, 8 caps. Jose Gaya, also another great left back, and I think he should start, by the way, at left back over Jordi Alba, in my opinion. However, 14 caps. Only Jordi Alba and has got 72. He's got 72 caps, but he made his debut 10 years ago, so I expect that. And Cesar Azpilicueta, unfortunately for him, how brilliant he is, he's had to compete with Sergio Ramos at right back before he got moved to centre half. He's had to deal with Carvajal, even Navas playing in that sort of position. So it's almost been impossible for him to get some game time. So I'm thankful that he's able to be a part of this now. But the experience is thin.
Exactly. And I mean, the Laporte one, although he's 27 and he has Premiership experience, the guy was French until couple of weeks ago. so, so again, I don't know how much that would play a part, but surely this guy hasn't played with these players. Whether he starts, we don't know. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the midfields, any midfield that they put out. I mean, they've got Rodri, Busquets, Thiago, Koke. They've got the midfield that they don't need to worry about. The other position that does worry me is the strikers.
Yeah.
I know Gerard Moreno for Villarreal has been bagging them in this season, but they're still persevering with Morata. And to be fair to Morata, he's 28 years old. I thought the guy was like 34.
The thing is, with Morata, when he moved to Chelsea, he hadn't actually started 50 domestic games. That's bad.
Yeah.
That is bad. That was both for Real and for Juventus. He hadn't even started 50 club games domestically. And I think that is, I think that's poor. But for the national side, yes, he's 28. He's got a 1-2 record.
Yeah.
So you can't really argue too much
Yeah, I mean,
with that. You take that international level.
Yeah, it's the same with Giroud, innit? People mock him, but he's international record.
Nobody can mock Giroud to me.
You can't discredit the guy's international record, and that's what it's about, isn't it? It's like what Peter Crouch kept getting put in the England squad. He's international record.
He's a 1-2 guy. And that's what you need at international.
So regardless of what these people do in their league teams, it doesn't matter. If they come away and do the business for their countries, then you play them, and that's what Spain are going to be doing.
There's a lot of players in midfield and on the wing that are under 6 foot. That worries me a little bit. And once again, we spoke about the defense and the lack of experience. There's a lot of players that are lacking experience here. Sergio Busquets, will he make it? Will he not? Depends what the level of his COVID is. 123 caps, fantastic. He has more caps than the rest of the midfielders. You know, that's bad. You know, we're looking at Marcos Llorente, who once again, solid season, brilliant player for me. He's 26 years old, made his first appearance for Spain in November last year. Yeah. He only has 5 caps. It's not enough. Fabian Ruiz, good season for Napoli, 12 caps. Pedri, fair enough, 18 years old, one to look out for the future, 1,000,000%, 4 caps. Dani Olmo, brilliant season for Leipzig, brilliant season and a half for Leipzig, 11 caps. You know, it's just, I feel that this tournament for Spain is an experiment for World Cup 2022. Would you agree with that?
Yes, it is, but it's also Spain in the sense that they're the only team. I wouldn't say, because I hate false number 9, but they were the first team to sort of not play a striker and win a major competition. Not playing a striker. So if any team could pull it off, then it would be them. I mean, looking at their strikers and their attackers, Moreno's the only one that scored more than 12 goals. The other 2 scored 11. So heading into a European Championship with strikers that just about reach double figures, for me would be worrying. But then does that mean that they're not looking to play with strikers? Because that could be the only possible reason for taking these guys, because scoring 11 goals in a season and you're supposed to be the top striker,
it's not cool.
It's quite bad, isn't it?
Ferran Torres can do that job, we know that. But final word on Spain, Adama Traore, what's he doing there?
Ridiculous. You know what? It's not even ridiculous. I'll tell you why. I say this all the time. You need somebody that is completely different. You need in the Euros and World Cups and stuff. You need somebody that no one or people know about him, but people that don't know how to handle how he plays. Do you remember when Peter Crouch played against Trinidad and they just didn't know what to do?
Yeah.
So there's those sorts of things, and I think that was why they took Walcott at that time, because they thought, you know what, no one's going to know about Walcott. I mean, they didn't even play him, so it was a bit stupid. But
Oh
I
no.
think you always need that wild card sort of player, and I think Traore is that wild card player. I mean, on his day, he's unstoppable. There's nothing in the world like Traore. If we're going to be honest, there's not. He's just a bodybuilder that can run like a sprinter and can play a bit of football. So um, football comes last for him, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting. I do think he's just a wild card. I think last 15, 20 minutes, you can't break through, fling him on and just see what havoc he can cause, man. Because against
He
some of the
is
lesser teams,
literally.
he's just going to kill him.
Oh
He's
yeah,
actually going to kill him.
he is literally Derek Henry from the Tennessee Titans and the NFL show that we also do once a week as well. Just plug a clock, Gav. Plug a clock. I was going to say something else. Oh yes, I do remember what I was going to say on Adama Traore. Bit of pointless fact that he has had sprint training.
Yeah, I mean, look at
from
him.
Darren Campbell, XGB medalist Darren Campbell, and that sprint training was there to slow him down because he was just too quick. That was the issue. He was too quick when he came through at Barcelona, when he moved over to England. He was just way too quick, and he wasn't able to. Well, because he was that quick, his brain didn't function in a football way quickly enough. So Darren Campbell continued his training on the way he sprints, which is fantastic, but slowed him down slowed him down at top speed, but still maintained that explosiveness in order for him to excel at football. And let's be real, I'm trying to cuss him out a little bit. I can't really cuss him out because he's a professional footballer. He's 25 years old. He's earning more money than I'll ever earn in my whole entire life. So who cares? Right. BG. Poland, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, 1st to 4th. Where are you going?
Oh, this is going to be honestly, don't even know, man.
Sorry, disclaimer. This is Spain with their current side, the ones that we just put up on the screen. Their squad of 24.
If we're going to go with what they've got, then I will be putting Spain, Poland, Slovakia, Sweden.
It's like I'm going to take a second and I'm just going to spit it out there, and no F's given.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me hear yours with Spain if they end up having to go with the under 21 side.
Based on their performance today, Spain finishing second, man.
Today,
Poland,
it's half 8 in the morning.
Yesterday, last night's
game.
How
much kip have you?
Yeah, last night's game. Yeah, based on last night's game, yeah, man, I think they could finish second. They look good, man.
Right, I'm gonna go. Oh no! Do you know what? I had it here on the tip of my tongue, and now I just don't know. I do not know. Spain top. This is fully functioning Spain. Spain top. Slovakia, Poland, Sweden. Slovakia and Poland. Sorry, Poland still qualify for the next round. They get a bit of momentum. They get through the last 16. They get battered in the quarters. Now, Spain without, I think it will go. It's the same. Screw it. It's going the same. It's the same. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Coolio. Though that is done. Only one more preview show to go, and that is Group F, of course.
F, yeah.
So enjoy that. Group F. Plenty stuff happening on the MAD Sports Network. Plenty stuff happening on the Away Day show as well. So make sure you subscribe to both channels. You are watching on either channel right now. It's up to you which one you choose to watch, but make sure you subscribe to both. It is very important. We are on different paths going towards the same goal, sharing lots of different things, going in a way that people want to see, want to hear. It's going to be exciting stuff. Loads of watch-alongs as well on the Away Day show. Make sure you tune in for the England watch-along as well against Croatia, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I feel it. I feel it here.
Gotta be
But
good.
that is it from us. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy what, in Northamptonshire at least, is going to be some sunshine.
Sunshine.
Take care. Ta-da.
See you later.